Welcome to London, home of the Queen, Big Ben, and now 16 of poker's best and brightest who have come here to battle it out in the ultimate test of skill and skullduggery, the cash game. And this is where it will all go down. Around this table, a rotating field of qualifiers and seasoned online pros will strive to build on their $2,000 starting stack in a $5, $10 round of no-limit hold'em. But it won't be easy. Each one has a set time limit and will have to pit their wits against the fearsome team PKR.
Well, it's going to be hard for sure. Other players are really good, so it's going to be hard to take any of them.
They're going to be some of the biggest winners on PKR.
They will bully and try to do moves on me, but I will not give up that easy.
It's one brilliant chance to play with some of the best players out there. The qualifiers, they have the money to burn. They have $2,000 and they have to make money on that.
The fact that it's on television, I think it always makes it more exciting. A bit more edge, a bit more nerves.
No reasons to be afraid.
At the end of the day, it's kill or be killed.
I'll take everybody's money.
It's sort of a game where you've got to be trying to take it seriously. It's not like a little pennies game with your friends.
I'm looking to send Scott Shelley to bust over all.
Well, you know, we're all supposedly friends.
We like to think we're good.
I never win a lot, that much.
Let me just concentrate.
Wait.
I'm not mentally prepared yet. Too nervous.
Everyone's pretty decent or pretty bad, so it's mainly going to be targeting friends.
There's a guy, Fly Show, he's a bit controversial. I think it would be quite funny to win a pot of him just to see his face.
Abseil in from the helicopter, guns blazing, chuck a few grenades, see if they explode. It might work, it might not.
I'll probably play just like a fish and hope to hit.
I don't need a strategy. I played poker professionally for 4 years. I don't need a strategy to play with those stonks.
So at any one time, 6 of our players will be squaring off against each other. Bust out and they have the option to buy back in with their own money. But once their allotted time is up, they will have to leave the table with their heads held high or their tails between their legs. Without further ado, let's go to our commentators and meet the players.
Thanks very much indeed, Laura. Our first 6 have made their way to the table, ready for some cash game action. They all start with $2,000. Let's check who's with us today. We start off in seat 1, James Sudworth, the original Team PKR Poker Pro, very solid. Sophia Lovgren, just 23. It's frightening how young some of the pros are these days. Don't let the pretty face fool you. Ross Jarvis is the editor of Poker Player magazine and an excellent cash player himself. We have Marc Barillier from France, 26 years of age. And it's a very big day indeed for Jason Chilmay, one of our qualifiers. He's in exalted company. And in seat 6, Vladimir Geshkombine from Russia, who has a reputation of being ultra-aggressive. Simon Hensworth is alongside me. I'm looking forward to seeing the Russian, Simon, particularly, because he's going to shake this table up a bit, I fancy.
Yeah, Vladimir, or Bane, as we all call him, he's always a lot of entertainment. He likes to play a lot of pots, he likes to bluff a lot, certainly doesn't like to fold very much, so he's always good fun to watch.
Player 6 raises to 30. 30 to call.
He's never going to...
Player 1 calls, 25 more money.
Well, there you go. We said he was aggressive, 9 high, and we're playing for 30. Blinds 5 and 10, by the way.
Player 2 raises to 110. 100 more for you, sir. Player 3 folds.
This is not going to be a friendly game, is it?
No, I think here Sophia is known as quite a tight player, but I think that she does know that, so I think she might be using her image to her advantage there.
Well, and also giving Vladimir absolutely no credit whatsoever for that race.
And why would you?
Keep doing it. If I just don't think you are really tight.
So you're saying you didn't have...
She was just 20 when she first became a PKR pro. She says her greatest strength is patience and that she never tilts. I've never met a poker player who never tilts, but maybe she's the first.
Everybody tilts. Some people can only tilt a tiny bit, so they can get away with it.
30 raises to 30.
I don't think you can categorically say that you never tilt.
So she's made the 3 times the
Player 3 raises to 100.
big blind raise with the ace queen, and Jarvis has ace-10 and has bumped it up to 100. This is interesting.
Yeah, I like that play. I think with a hand like ace-10, it plays quite well, but it's if you call, it's a bit difficult with players to act behind. They might get squeezed out of the pot. So I like taking the aggressive line here with the Ross.
Not suited, but not stop Jarvis from making the re-raise, and it's 70 more for Sophia.
It's already a difficult situation for Sophia because they're what $2,000 deep. So
she's come to play.
She has, clearly. I mean, at this point, she's probably thinking though. Do I want to get in ace queen pre-flop for 200 big blinds, or do I want to call and then be in, face difficult decisions later on? So she took the aggressive line again. That usually is the best.
Just wonder whether Jarvis was thinking, hang on, now she re-raised Vladimir in the first hand. Now she's come over the top against me. Has she just picked up a couple of hands, or is she just being super aggressive? Either way, no one has seen her cards, and she's made a flying start here.
Yeah, like I said, I think she can definitely use her image to her advantage, and people will believe her a lot. I think. I mean, she had a genuinely good hand there, but I don't know. It leaves the other players guessing as to what she's up to.
35. Player 1 raises to 35.
If I can count, let's count. You'll probably regret that. Probably a silly idea.
Player 2 calls.
So 35 the raise from James, and Lovgren with a very quick call.
8, 9, 6. Check or bet.
Yeah, I think this is a blind versus blind hand. You often get a lot of antics because people usually don't have hands, and it just becomes a case of I don't believe you. I'm just gonna, either bluff you off a hand that because I don't think you have very much, or a lot of shenanigans.
Up and down here, Lovgren. So both with the gut shot.
Player 1 bets 100. Player 2 calls.
If she doesn't hit, you've got to fancy
5.
that Subworth with a bet will obviously take this hand down. But he's got nothing.
He's probably going to give up here.
Player 1 checks.
Sophia can definitely have a 7.
But she'll think, I can only win this hand with a bet.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly. I mean,
Player 2 bets 225.
Those orange and black chips, by the way, are 100. Purple and greens are 25.
Player 1 folds.
Is anyone else going to win a hand in this game?
Yeah, they're not happy with it, I don't think. She played that hand brilliantly, and she didn't give James credit for having much of a hand, and thought, well, he's going to have to bluff me 3 streets if he wants to win, and he didn't, and she took it down. Really well played.
She cashed in her first live tournament, Sophia, the Irish Poker Open. She's had 4 cashes the World Series of Poker, so she knows her way around a poker table.
Player 6. What you might. It's 50, yeah?
Yeah.
50 to call.
It's a good investment.
Player 1 folds.
Raise or a fold?
Yeah, so Baines taking advantage, well, maybe putting some pressure on the qualifier here, which isn't very surprising.
So he's just going to clear one off here, you would imagine. 30 more.
No, certainly not folding.
No, I know.
That complicates
Jack.
things.
You're strong.
10. Call. Check or bet.
How it's going in.
Bets 100. Player 5 bets 100. Player 6 folds.
That's good to see, actually. The bet from Chillmate.
No, because I mean that's always the difficulty of playing small pairs, is that when you don't hit a set, you usually have overcards and things to worry about. So he kind of, by leading there, he put the decision on Bain, and Bain had nothing, so he had to fold.
There's something about good-looking.
One thing's for sure, though, if he'd checked, Bain would have bet, and then he would have folded the small pair.
Absolutely, yeah. That was Bain's plan.
20 to call.
So we've not seen any kind of settling in. We've seen big raises since the first cards were dealt here. And this is no exception. Subworth raising it up with the monster that is King 9, and he's not got his timing right here, because look what Lovgren's picked up. Ladies for the lady.
2 raises to 170 total.
It's really interesting because Sophia's played a lot of pots
Player
already.
4 folds.
And it might now be a case where I think, what is she up
Player
to?
5 folds.
She might get, you're right, she might get no credit for this. And Subworth at some point is going to think, I'm not going to continually be bossed around.
I'll start spinning later.
Player 1 fold.
No, he was sensible.
So another pot to Lovgren, who's made an absolutely flying start here. She's won virtually every hand. Can it continue? Find out in a moment. Welcome back to the PKR London Cash Game, where so far it's been all about Sophia Lovgren. Subworth picked up a suited ace here.
Player 1 raises to 30.
Yeah, definitely open this type of hand, pretty much from any position,
Player 2
six-handed.
folds.
Ace do suited, one of those hands that you tend to play a lot more in cash games than in tournament play. Ross just
Player 3 raises
counting
to
out
90.
a re-raise.
Yeah, the
Player 5
ace-2
folds.
suited, like you said, it plays really well
Player
with
6
deep
folds.
stacks where you can hit like nutted,
We're playing deep, so I feel like
nutted draws and things like that, where you
60
can
more.
see turns and rivers, you know, potentially win a really big pot.
And this is deep, the big blind being a tenner,
Nice low card.
$10 that is, so they're sitting down with 200 big blinds.
6, 10, 5. Player 1 checks.
Yeah, and Ross has one of those in-between kind of hands that's, again, you don't really want to be calling
Player 3
pre-flop
bets
with it, so he's
130.
taken the aggressive line, which I think is correct, and now he has initiative. He's flopped very well. I think it's going to be very hard for James to carry on.
So credibility
Player 1 folds.
pause, wasn't it, for a few seconds? He was always going to muck those.
Yeah, and he'll feel a little bit like he's getting run over because he's had to fold a lot of hands and hasn't seen what people have had, which is always really frustrating.
I played actually with Ross Jarvis in a tournament at Luton a couple of years back, and I was on a table with him for about an hour and a half, and then on the final table, which he ended up winning, and I came sixth, which says it all, really.
Yeah, I know Ross really well. He's a really nice guy. He loves his food, and he loves his beer as well.
Well, they call him
That's
Mr. Starch, don't they? Because he apparently eats an abnormal amount of potatoes.
Yeah, this is yeah. So I've heard.
Player 6 raises to 100.
I think he got that nickname
Player
before I
1
knew him.
folds.
I never see him eat that many potatoes.
Well, never a bad thing for a poker player to have plenty of chips. And look at this, the Frenchman's been pretty quiet so far, Mark, but he's picked up ace king suited, big slick, and he's not just going to call Gesh Combine's raise, it's how much he's going to raise it.
Yeah, he'll be really happy here with this situation. I don't think he'll be
Player 4
he'll
raises
be concerned
to
that
275.
Bain has a better hand than ace king.
Player 5 folds.
Look at this posturing. He's having a look at his stack. He has no intention whatsoever of carrying on here, but it's all about perception, making it look as though it's a tricky decision. They were always going in the muck.
Friendly game where we just sort of like limp in and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
We've seen no limping in at all, Simon, have we, so far?
We haven't. No limping. You know, all these players are like they're online players who, you know, are used to very aggressive players. So it's actually not surprising at all that the game's playing out like this so far.
And what is the best strategy for Chilmade, do you think? We saw him win one hand, which he played well. Is it better for him to play tight in this company?
Well, I believe the rules are with his stack, he only gets to keep profit. So he has to get busy pretty quick and start trying to win pots because he's only got a certain amount of time that he has to play. So really, you should be thinking, well, if I lose,
Player 6 raises to 200.
if I lose 2,000,
Player 1
that's not the end of the world.
200 the bet man.
Look at this, Simon. Gesh Combine is at it again. 200 with 7-5, and it's going to cost Ross 180 more with ace-jack suited.
Yeah, This is kind of how we thought Bain was going to play. He's not wanting to fold. He's wanting to create a lot of action. And you know, he's got Ross to fold a very good hand in Ace Jack suited there with this squeeze play.
Wow, Chillmate's peeling one off with Queen 9. He doesn't trust the Russian.
6.
Can he continue with this though?
Check it.
It's perfect really for us because they've both missed it.
Play 5 checks.
250.
Play 6.
It's a really good flop actually for Bain because that's just as dry as it gets, and it doesn't really hit anything. He can represent a lot of hands. It's going to be really hard for Jason to continue. To continue, he probably has to bluff himself. He's going to require a big bet.
Well, he's been bluffed off it by the Russian. We asked some of these guys the best way that qualifiers could play at this table.
The best bit of advice I'd give to qualifiers would be take your time, don't rush, think things through and enjoy yourself really.
I think there is going to be a lot of spots where the pros and some of the regular players are going to be picking on them a lot.
Just give me your money.
More importantly, don't start playing extremely passive because people are going to take advantage of them. So they need to stand up for themselves, which is counterintuitive, but not allow themselves to get run over.
Just play their own game, you know, don't be scared, don't be afraid of doing something because you might look silly on TV, like doing a big bluff or doing a big cool down.
You want to duck and dive a little bit more, show a few bluffs, do you know what I mean? Show that you're the man because, you know, at the end of the day, it's an advert for your poker playing. Just enjoy it and relish the experience. I think it's not something that comes around every day, this. It's a really great opportunity.
You get to keep your profits, so you better gamble it up.
Interesting. I think the best piece of advice there was the enjoy it line, because if you don't enjoy it, you're not going to play well, are you?
Yeah, with poker you always should be enjoying it. There's no point playing if it's not fun.
Player 6 raises to 50.
Proper digging and everything, like manual labour.
He's relentless with his raising the Russian 50 with Jack 7 off.
Yeah, I see Jason has straddled in this hand, so Bain doesn't have to give him any credit for kind of hammering to the straddle. You know, he's put the bet in before he's even seen his cards, so he could have literally any two.
Straddle if you're new to the game, doing a voluntary bet if you wish, double the big blind, and it just bumps up the action. We mentioned that Chillmate will only take home any profit that he makes, not the original $2,000 starting stack. Ross keeps getting similar hands, doesn't he? He's got ace-jack again here.
Yeah, and Jason's got actually a good hand that plays well multi-way. He'd be pretty happy to see that in the straddle.
3.
Well, Ross will be pretty happy with that flop.
Checks. Player 5 checks. Player 6 bets 100.
Wish they'll stack one there.
He knew that the Russian was going to bet at it. That's why he checked it, Jarvis.
Yeah, he's doing his unhappy face there, but I think he's pretty happy with his hand on this board.
Queen. Player 3 checks.
And Bain doesn't know that.
What did you call me? Out of the small
he only called pre-flop, and that's a board that, you know, if he had ace king, ace queen, aces, kings, queens, he probably would have re-raised pre-flop.
230.
Which is probably why he's continuing to bet here.
Well, he's got a weak flush draw, a gut shot. He knows he can't be winning at the moment.
No. But in Ross as well, Ross is representing the sort of hand he has, like a sort of one pair hand.
He's got him to put it down. The power of a bet.
Exactly, and also Ross is thinking about what he's going to do on the river. He's thinking, well, if I call this, it's hard for me to improve, and Bain might put in a huge bet on the river, which is going to be very difficult to call as well.
It's a great example that the best hand doesn't always win in this game. You just need a strong right hand to get those chips in the middle.
20 to call. Player 1 folds. Player 2 raises.
Here comes
to
Sophia.
55.
Who's been quiet for all the 5 minutes.
Player 3 folds.
So she was due a bet. 10 jack offsuit.
Player 5 folds. Player 6 calls.
Yeah, Bain straddled this hand, and ace nine's
Queen.
pretty good.
4.
Pretty good hand to wake up with.
Player 6 checks.
Well, you would imagine that Sophia would continue here, even though she's got none of that.
Yeah, I have a
30,
feeling
that's
Bain
75.
won't want to get pushed around by Sophia.
Play 6 calls.
And he's floating this flop, which I think is pretty good.
King.
Do you think he actually
First six
believes he's ahead in this hand, Simon?
I think he thinks he probably is, but I think also in the back of his mind he's thinking, well, if the turn
Plenty
goes
bets.
check, check, he'll
150.
probably bet anyway, just to get Sophia to potentially fold some smaller pairs and things like that.
Play 6 folds.
When she, she turned a straight draw, so it's a really good bet.
And she showed him as well. That was the biter bit. Looks like butter wouldn't melt in the mouth of Sophia Lovkin. Don't believe a word of it.
Yeah, she's really improved actually. I think she's getting better and better all the time.
10 to call. Play 2 folds.
James has donned the sunglasses there. So I guess he's getting serious now.
Well, it's quite bright in the studio.
Yeah,
you need
true.
Play 3
need the
raises to
shades.
25.
I don't know. I don't think there's ever any excuse to wear sunglasses indoors.
Or a hat.
Play 4
Well,
raises to 80.
Jarvis has got an ace again. This time he's got another one to go with it.
Player 5, player 6 folds. Player 1 folds.
Yeah, desperately wanting some action.
But he's going to get it from Orele.
So 55 more to you.
Would you just call this, or would you raise it up, Simon?
I think either is fine. Anything except folding, really.
Player 3 raises to 200.
This is a problem with raising. It potentially lets your opponent 4-bet you. And Queen Jack suited is traditionally a hand that you'd want to see flops with. I mean, that's where it plays best.
It looks so
Careful,
appealing,
folks.
doesn't it? Jack
Yeah.
Queen suited, but discretion being the better part of valour. He has put it down, and that little grimace from Ross is thinking, maybe I should just have called there. Let him improve.
Yeah, I think Mark's been pretty quiet so far. He probably thought he had quite a
Tentacle.
decent hand there.
Player 4 raises to 30.
When like I misclick online, like I
Player 5
accidentally
folds.
raise.
Player
I'm like,
6
right, I've got to
folds.
win this out now.
Yeah, I've got to show him my
Got to
trouble
prove
check,
that.
30 to call. Player 1 folds. Player 2 folds. 20 more.
So round to Ross. He's got them again.
Wow.
It's a photocopying machine.
Player 3 raises to 105.
It's a good time to get them as well, isn't it?
Player 4
Yeah,
folds.
it's a shame.
That's very sad, isn't it?
That's twice he's had the bullets, and twice he hasn't really been rewarded. But as they say, always better to win a small pot
Yeah.
than to lose a big one.
Followed by a slight tear down.
Yeah.
Good atmosphere around this table as well. Here's how we stand. Lovgren, who had that flying start, she's up $585. Mark's up a couple of hundred. He's not been particularly busy, but he's been selective. And our qualifier at the moment is in profit to the tune of $135. Jarvis, Sudworth and the Russian Gesh combine all down, but there's a long, long way to go. We're back in a moment. Welcome back to London. You're watching the PKR London Cash Game. I'm Trevor Harris alongside Simon Hemsworth. And we've seen some really aggressive play from pretty much everyone so far. Even our qualifier is in profit.
I'm sure she could fold to a 6.
Yeah, it's playing how you would expect a six-handed game with a lot of online cash grinders in it.
Player 5 raises to 50. Player 6 folds. Player 1 folds. 50 to call, madam.
Madam, that's very respectful.
Yeah, I think Severe's going to 3-bet this
Player 2
hand,
raises to
especially against the
125.
qualifier.
Casinos I go to, when they come to me, they say it's your bet, mate.
Player 3 folds.
Rather than
Player
your
4
bet,
folds.
sir. Or madam.
It's very
75
formal.
more, sir.
Difficult, isn't it? Kojak is one of those hands so easily dominated, as it is in this case.
Yeah, it is.
Player 5 raises to
I do quite like that play, actually.
325.
Well, certainly better than a call.
200
Yeah.
more.
putting the heat on the Swede.
Player 2 folds.
I wonder if that was partly because, okay, she knows he's a qualifier, Simon. Maybe she's thinking that kind of a bet shows extreme strength, maybe more strength than a re-raise from a fellow pro.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I know, that was his first 4-bet of this session. So usually the first time somebody does something, you have to give them a bit of credit. And yeah, he made a really good play there.
Sailing over to you, Bane. It's going to bring back all of your
Yeah, it's the trouble with calling King Jack. You get a lot of rubbish pairs and things, and it's just really difficult to play.
And once you hit something, it gets progressively more difficult to get away from it.
Yeah, exactly.
You dig the hole deeper and deeper, don't you? We've all been there.
Yeah, we all learn the hard way.
Player 5 raises to 40.
Well, flush with confidence. Chillmade's coming out betting again.
Yeah, so he's only doubled the straddle bet, so I think Bane's going to call with any 2 here probably.
6, Jack.
So second pair for Gesh combine here.
5 bets 50. Player 6 calls. 7.
Yeah, I just wonder how deep Jason might get into this with
Player 5 bets 85.
nothing really at all going on with his ace-3 on this board.
Didn't even blink before calling that bet, did he, Gesh combine?
No. Don't know if Jason's reading into it, but usually the very quick call means you have exactly the type of hand that Bane has here, which is sort of a one-pair mage hand type thing.
Well, it's gone check on the end. He's ace high, and Gesh combine will take it down with second pair.
The board ran out really badly for him there to bluff on it.
Well, at least give him full marks for trying. The Russian is celebrating. Slightly ironic that, because he's not won too many hands so far, but he is an incredibly attractive player to watch. Let's try and find out a bit more about him.
Yeah, you definitely will.
I started playing live cash games a lot recently, from 510 to 1020. One day I love the live games, but the other day I don't want to go out and I just want to click a mouse button and relax. So it depends very much, but if I would have to decide, it would be live. You can see the players, you have much more fun. I think my greatest strength is to read people's tilt level and put them on a level of tilt which is high. I don't know why, but since I was young, I kind of had the ability to make people angry, teachers and people in authority, and it is of great use in poker. There's no players I'm looking to avoid. I'm taking everyone's money.
See, I used to annoy my teachers as well, but it hasn't made me a particularly brilliant poker player.
Yeah, it's an interesting skill, that. Knowing people's tilt level. Not really thought about that one.
Encouraging James Sudworth to straddle Vladimir.
Tentacle.
He has resisted the urge to do that.
Very disciplined, James, there.
Player 2 folds. 30 to call.
He's raising up with the ace-9 suited.
Player 3 calls. Player 4 folds.
Jarvis has got ace-jack again.
Player 5 folds.
Aces twice, ace-jack about 4 or 5 times, hasn't
he? Yeah, he's had some good hands.
Is this the first flop I've seen that I've raised? I think it is.
We know that Vladimir's going to be in almost regardless of what he's holding.
Ace.
And there's the ace that Jarvis was looking for, and this might get Sudworth in a bit of trouble potentially.
Yeah, he's taken the sort of pot control line by just checking.
Player 3 bets 60. Player 6 folds. Player 1 calls. Jack. Player 1 checks.
That makes us feel a lot more secure. Those orange and black chips are worth $100 incidentally. Purple and greens are 25 and the reds are 5.
Player 1 calls.
Wow. Does Sudworth think he's ahead here?
Yeah, I mean, with the sort of line he's taken this hand, he's actually made it fairly difficult for himself, because when you do just check with your top pair, you kind of have to. You usually end up just calling down.
Well, he surely can't put Subworth on run a flush here, so he needs to bet it, and there it is.
305.
305. Round about 2/3 of the pot, that bet.
Yeah, it's a pretty healthy bet. I mean, it's easy when we see the cards, but it does look strong from Ross's side.
The thing is, if Subworth called on the 2 previous streets, that 7 has changed nothing.
No.
And that's why he's calling. And he's not going to like it.
Pair of jacks.
Oh no, the game's been playing fairly aggressively so far, and top pair's a good hand. Sometimes it's difficult to fold it.
Long way to go though. No immediate problems for James.
You kind of have to call because
Pretty deep stack this, $2,000. Lines 5 and 10, albeit that we've been seeing a lot of straddling. So cards in the air again.
Madam, 10 to call.
Dealer button is on our qualified Jason this hand.
Player 3 folds. Player 4 raises to 30.
Mark has been relatively quiet compared to the rest of the table, so when he raises they might just take note.
I mean, I haven't really noticed him folding any hands that he shouldn't have folded. I think it's mostly just the cards he's been getting dealt.
4, ace, 5.
Played with Mark a fair
checks.
amount in the past. I think French players get a bit of a bad reputation.
They do.
I think
4 bets, 40.
perhaps it's a little bit unfair.
40 to call.
But Mark's a good player. They were really good. Elke's French is a very good player.
That is certainly true. Well, he's got a gut shot here, Sudworth. 6 would make him the straight, so he's peeling one off
2.
Relatively cheaply. Now he's going to come out betting, is he?
Interesting.
70.
Player 1 bet 70.
Well, this will not be enough to get the Frenchman off the hand, that's for sure.
Player 4 calls.
Unless he hits the magic 6. He might have to give up on the end, we'll see.
Check it out.
So there's the trouble with calling with 8
Player 1
high.
checks.
You kind of then feel obliged to have to bluff at it. And if Mark had nothing, it would have worked really well. But unfortunately, he's got a pretty good hand that he doesn't want to fold.
Player 4 checks.
Well, in the end, he's quite happy just to turn the cards over, and he'll take down $285.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm wondering what's...
Would have probably considered there, Barry Lade, sticking a bet in on the end, but I guess he figured that he wasn't really going to get called by any hand that
No, I mean
he was beating.
I would have been a bit surprised for James to have played like an ace-8 type hand in that way. It's possible, but sometimes James does play a bit funky. But I think I certainly would have checked behind there with ace-10.
One time I don't put a straddle on.
Permanent aces in the hand of Ross Jarvis. Not the ace-queen this time.
He jokingly just said then that he didn't. He said he should have straddled after he looked at his cards. They're telling the table, I've got a good hand, but she actually does. But I guess they might think that he's just saying that with a weaker hand to fool them.
Never believe poker players.
No.
Or estate agents. Sorry, only
Player
joking.
5 calls.
So again, this pot building, 245.
Wow.
Chill made with a hand that could get him into trouble in this
Player
pot.
1 folds. Player 2 folds. 70 more.
Encourage me.
Does he just peel one off here? Does he repop it?
I think either option is probably okay. I think with the extra other player in the pot, with Jason calling behind, I think he's more likely to
6.
just call, which he has done.
King 5. Player 3 checks.
Well, Baronet's actually ahead with the bottom pair.
Player 4 checks.
Can't know it though.
Player 5 checks.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised he checked.
King.
Because a bet there is going to take down the pot a lot, and he does, you know, he has a pair and he has ways of improving his hand. And now this is the problem. You leave somebody open to take a stab at the pot, and you've just got a weak pair.
Player 3 bets 130. Yeah, 130.
So Ross has decided that someone needs to make a stand here, and it may as well be him.
Player 4 calls.
Yeah, Ross could have a
Player
king.
5
Ross
folds.
could have 6s full, 5s full. He could have something like 10s.
Queen.
He could have all sorts of hands, and that's the problem Mark has. Is it's really hard to put him on a very specific hand.
So worst to first on the river.
Player 3 bets 210. Player 4 folds.
No, it's a good bet by Ross.
It was, wasn't it? Didn't get paid, but it was a nice teaser.
Yeah.
So the smile's back.
I don't know, I'm actually surprised Mark folded so quickly then. I thought he might be tempted.
He didn't get paid for his aces earlier, but he's got paid this time. The story continues in just a moment. I'm sure you're enjoying the action from the English capital, the PKR London Cash game. Seems to have been played in a very friendly atmosphere, although sometimes some of the betting doesn't quite indicate that, especially from Vladimir.
Player 1 raises to
Yeah,
60.
well, I think all these players know each other,
60
so
bet.
I think it's always going
Player
to be a good
2,
atmosphere.
player 3 and 4 all fold.
We'll see if that changes, if
50
somebody
more
loses a
for
big
you.
pot.
Stomach's groaning for a generic burger and chips.
Player 5 calls.
Someone's hungry.
Player 6 calls.
If I don't win this pot,
You're going to
Sorry?
You should eat some chips instead.
I know I should, I really do need to.
Ace. Jack. 10.
So another ace-high flop.
Player 5 checks. Player 6 checks.
105.
Player
Is
1
the
bets
bluff
105.
from Sudworth.
105 to call.
Chillmaid is up and down here.
So he's going for
Player
a
5 raises.
That's a nice bet. Yeah, that's a nice move.
Oh, what, sorry? Oh.
And
that's my life. I always think girls are born.
he picked his moment well there. They both had nothing, so 2 quick folds.
Yeah, some players can be overawed when they get into the company of professionals. Others take it in their stride. But one thing we've seen so far from Jason is clearly enjoying himself, loving every minute of it. Let's find out just a little bit more about it.
Most of my live plays come from Vegas. I've played in some of the best poker rooms in the world, so I think that'll put me in good stead for this game, so I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I'm not really sure what my style of play is. I'd say I can be quite tight, but I can also be quite loose and quite aggressive at times. I've not thought so much about strategy because it's a very unique game, and with it being a time-limited session, depending on what time and what my stack size is, I think that will dictate what things I might try and do. If I'm under the $2,000 buy-in with about an hour to half hour left, I think things could get a little bit more creative.
I like the way he's played so far, Sam. He's not really looked out of place, has he, particularly?
No, and he's it's good to see that he's bluffed a few times, and he's shown that he's not, you know, scared money or afraid to get his chips in light, which is a really really positive sign.
I mean, the good thing, obviously, for Jason, he's got nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Player 2 folds.
It's amazing, it's so bad that I can fold.
Player 3 folds.
Nice
Player
little
4 folds.
around.
15 more for
Give me
you.
my
So.
straddle back so I don't lose it, Bane.
Got a playable hand here, King 10. From the
Player
small
5 raises
blind.
to 80.
Yeah, and I really like this. I wouldn't have liked it had he just called.
Player 6 calls.
Because it just makes your decisions a lot more
80.
difficult later on in the hand.
Subworth with a similar hand to Gashkenbone is just called. Chillmaid's raise.
Archie, what have you done to me?
Let's have a family pot.
You might be thinking about raising here, which would be quite a good time to do it, actually.
The problem is, if you just call here and an ace comes, you're not completely convinced whether you like it or not, are you?
Yeah, ace-5 offsuit doesn't play very well in a multi-way pot. So I think he's made a good decision there to fold.
4.
So the man from
7.
Russia against the man from Dunstable.
7.
Poker truly is an international game. A couple of sevens on board there, and Gashkenbone pairs his
Player
4.
5 bets 105.
Yeah, he's got a backdoor flush draw as
Player 6
well
calls.
to go along with his pair, so he certainly won't be folding this flop.
6.
Now he's got the nut flush draw.
And it might be playing on
Player 5
both
bets
Jason's
280.
and Bain's mind about an earlier hand where Jason bluffed a flop and turn and then gave up on the river. So it'd be interesting to see what happens on the
Player
river
6
if he
calls.
doesn't make a pair.
I know. That's me, $20.
So 950 in the middle as we hit the river,
8.
which changes nothing.
So it's quite an interesting river card because Bain's probably thinking, so he does put in
Player
a bet.
5 bets 500.
What does he have here? How? Because you would think it's either going to be a 5, which is quite hard to have, given how the hand's played out. It's quite hard for Jason to have one.
Could he have a hand like pocket tens?
I don't know. I mean, usually you would think that he might be a bit scared by that board. I mean, it would be quite a thin value bet with tens, but it's possible.
6 calls.
Yeah.
Yeah, call.
No.
I said call.
It's a really good call by Bain.
Jam the ace and the 5.
The full marks to Jason for trying.
Yeah.
He certainly had the Russian thinking. He nearly put it down.
Yeah, I really respect the bluff, and it's just because he got called down, I wouldn't say it makes it bad. Just Bain's a good player, and he read that situation well and made a good call.
So some welcome chips to Vladimir's stack.
Like a really big pot and get confidence.
He was down about 400 earlier, but I think he's arrested that situation.
Jason's going to go all that psycho now. Just be like, I'm all in.
That's exactly what I have here, so...
Yeah, and Jason's quite short stack now, so given that he can only take home his profits, he'll
Player 3 raises to 25.
he might be getting
Player
those
4
chips in
folds.
fairly soon.
25.
So aces twice for Jarvis and now jacks. And a pair for Chillmaid. This might be very bad news for the qualifier here.
Yeah.
Player 5 raises to 100. Player 6 folds. 90 to call.
Ross will be very, very happy with his jacks here. Oh, wow.
Oh, starchy.
Look at this. He has to think that Chillmaid's got something. Obviously, he doesn't know how strong Jarvis is.
250.
Player 1 raises to 250. 225 more.
Yeah, it's a very difficult situation.
Loads, mate.
He wanted to count, he said loads.
Production has about 600 or something.
Loads, just slightly more than a trillion.
And Jason, how much you play?
I think that after Jason's 3-bet,
Started having about 800-900.
James, when James raises 250, he has something. Whether that be aces, kings, queens, but he could feasibly have a value hand worse than jacks. I think that's what Ross is thinking here. Or he could have, ace queen or ace king, which he's flipping with.
All in.
All in.
And there's the first all-in of the day.
Player 5 folds. Player 1 calls.
And a pretty easy call, and Jarvis is going to hate this.
Oh, I didn't realise James was so short there.
Queens versus Jacks.
I think that makes it a lot more standard.
Ace, 10, 3, 2.
So just one of the two remaining jacks. Not there, and that's a welcome double through for James Subworth. Played itself, as you said, really, Simon, with the stacks as they were.
It's been a while. For years.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling, isn't it? It's decent. I'm still below my sliding stack.
Yeah, he would have been ecstatic to get all in with jacks there, but it's certainly it's better than folding.
Yeah, a little bit maybe.
Sophia's been pretty quiet of late, hasn't she? She made a rip-roaring start.
Yeah.
Pass seat 1, pass seat 2.
Michelle, she probably just hasn't been dealt in many hands.
55, seat 3. Call, seat 4. Pass, seat 5.
Just shows you that raise from Jarvis. You can raise with any two. Boost 10. He's bumped it up.
I expect to get through Bane, to be honest. To fellow traveller.
Check, check.
It's actually a really good flop
75.
when you have nothing.
He can rep that ace, can't he?
Very well. And it's just, if people haven't hit an ace or a 9, they're folding all day long.
Pass.
I feel I've worked out how this is going to go. I'm going to give away money and then call to someone and get it back.
So another pot for Jarvis after some creative play.
Yeah.
If you win another pot, you should shave.
The compensation for him after losing that hand, jacks against queens. Let's take a check then on where we stand. The Ash Combine was down early, but now he's up $725. Lovgren, after her early heroics, more than $400 ahead. And Mark with a small profit. So too Jarvis, who's had arguably the best cards of anyone. Sudworth and our qualifier Chillmaid are the two that have less than their starting stacks.
So our early action has seen some solid play, but there's no doubting the wild card at the table. Mad Vlad may be dangerous to know, but it could be the calm and collected Swede at the other end of the table who'll be cleaning up next time. See you then.